Alrighty, game 8 for the Whites versus Greys. Far out, I've said that a couple of times, haven't I? So let's try that again. The 8th game for Whites and Greys. And this is the first game for the losers bracket. So it's taken a little while for the losers bracket to get off the ground, but here we are, first game. And the first game is the best of 3 between Mirddes and Nobby, and Taco and Arran. So fairly evenly matched, 92%, cool, but whatever. So let's have a look. Let's start with up the top here. We've got Nobby UEF going first land, no adjacencies. I believe he doesn't believe in adjacencies, I think he was saying the other night, but adjacencies are very good to get started off the bat. And down here, teaming up with Nobby, we've got Mirddes changing from his usual Cybran, going Seraphim. Excuse me, that's pretty obvious. Going Seraphim first land this time, queuing up a ton of PGens afterwards. Plenty of mexes now, probably needed to get some of those PGens done in the meantime. See how he's dropping fairly quickly. So he's going to e-stall before he gets back on top. Not building anything out of the land factory either, so sitting idle there. Down the bottom here, Taco UEF getting his build going. Same thing, no power until after all 4 mexes are done. So not the best way to get the build started. If you don't have a hydro near your starting position, you're going to need power to help build the mexes. So generally 2 PGens, 2 mexes, followed by 1 PGen, 2 mexes, and then 2 PGens. So basically 2-2, 1-2-2 you want for your starting eco build order, and adjacency is good. And now up to Taco. No, Arran. Taco was our last player. Arran now first land as well. Aeon, and a more sensible power build order, but possibly not enough. And he's stalling. He has E in the bank to use, but still stalling. So he's queued up the PGens before the air factory, so that will help him. Although it looks, I know he hasn't really put any eco into those upgrades. So we've got a raid here stalled on the left from Arran. Could be pushing into these reclaim NGs. Not getting much reclaim out of it, but every little bit helps. And if you're just rallying your engineers there because you're not using them yet, then they may as well be reclaiming if they're not doing anything else. Alright, Nobby coming across and taking Mirddes' mexes. Although if Mirddes is going to take the back base, then fair enough. Taco pushing forwards with some tanks for raids. Not much expanding out for Mirddes. It would be a good idea to send these tanks, maybe a couple of artillery around the back, hit these mexes and get in and get any engineers getting the reclaim along this rock here, and pushing through to get any other engies around the back as well. So far no transport rush for the side, or no rush for edge. No, there we go, Taco pushing the edge build. And it looks like he'll get that without any contest from Mirddes. Mirddes queuing up a whole bunch more land factories now, using plenty of adjacency along the PGens. A little bit misaligned here, but never mind. Alright, raid coming through. These guys haven't picked up any kills yet, so these engineers been withdrawn into the base to what looks like assist with building more engineers. Perhaps Nobby, instead of just assisting factories to build more engineers in the beginning, can be getting out tanks, because right now if this lab was to start moving in, especially if it was a tank, Aeon has quick tanks, so he could have used a tank instead of the flare to get in, and would have picked these units apart very quickly, and all that effort gone into building just NGs would have been for nothing. However, Mech Marines out from Nobby, going to perhaps raid and counter raid. Tanks would be a better idea for the hit points and the firepower. This flare's not that far away. Maybe a few Marines to come, mech Marines to come and get him in time before he gets the mechs, but the flare's gonna get that mech. Deserve a vet for that kill, but goes down anyway. Not a bad use of the flare, I guess, taking out that mechs. And now we got a bit of a battle, not quite between the comms. Arran here taking the mass in the middle, very good mass steal, denying Nobby of some of this big amount of reclaim here, pulling his units back. All they're doing is feeding Nobby with a bit of vet eventually. Taco now pulling his raids back. Didn't get any kills with them by the looks of it. No. So pulling them back now. A chunk of land units coming out from Mirddes that'll deal with this little army very well indeed. Com v com now. And Arran choosing to pull back instead of going for more reclaim. Perhaps he's seen these units, doesn't realise that a lot of them are mech marines. And himself, well, he's got the radar up, so that'll help with vision for the Aurora. Now Taco keeping his commander in the rear building would be a good idea early game, especially here to use the com to come up, take this reclaim, or push the land, hold the front end, get engineers in to take the reclaim. And this radar will go down very quickly once it's shot at. 10 hit points, it's got no chance. So denying Arran of some decent intel. His scout just went down there. Another scout coming up from the back, but their intel range doesn't match that of the T1 radar. So never mind though, getting the scout up the front to help out with your Auroras. Nobby taking a lot of hits down to about a third of his hit points and still losing more. Arran now falling back, being pushed by Mirddes and Nobby's armies. Taco, what is going on? Nothing. He's just reclaiming. I'm not sure what happened there, whether he couldn't actually reach and the order failed, I don't know. However, transport, yes, transport from Arran now, ready for a drop, hopefully up the top. Sitting idle though, he could get it moving and get that build started on the top island there. A raid from Nobby coming around to the left side of Arran's base. Some exposed T2 mexes, an engineer and a T1 mex in the back. Looks like he could pick up this little bit here with that raid. Not too bad. Will delay the rebuilding of these mexes, definitely. Alright, Mirddes surrounding the hill with, with Zooies and the tank. Taking out a bit of units. Com there from Arran will deal with these guys easily though, and this raid is now successfully around the back. Ooh, imagine if Nobby was able to get this in and kill the transport with the tanks before it can take off. That would be a very bad blow for Arran, having left that transport idle for far too long at this point. And now it's moved just in time. It would have been painful to see that die to a tank raid. Alright, Taco pushing the com forwards now. Oh, he's on a patrol order. Not the best use of the com at this point. Definitely needs to push these units back and take this reclaim. After these units have been mostly thinned out, he could potentially raid up the right with this army, although he does have a few factories in the back. How is the eco? Not good. He has no power. So only his starter power build, hadn't added extra power, and he's upgrading mexes, building mass storage. So he just doesn't have the power to support it. Arran now taking hits in the back. These tanks just walking straight through and taking this back base apart. This has proved to be a very good raid indeed. Taco still not getting the expansion base on this island up. I think he may have forgotten that he was doing that, and that engineer is sitting there idle. Yeah, so there's his build range, not close enough to get up to the hill here. Perhaps needs to move into this little spot here and he can build just up there. The little build range UE mod there helping with that explanation. Nobby's com now down to just under half his hit points, but with a vet and nano, a different upgrade. Maybe not a bad choice, seeing as he lost so much health. But gun would be a fairly good choice if he could afford it, and it looks like he probably could at this point. Yeah, if he could just pause a bit of production, not producing anything. If he could not upgrade any more mexes after these two go up, there we go, get gun on the comm. He'll have a gun nano comm early, well at 10 minutes, but it's still in the T1 phase of the game, and that comm will just walk right through whatever Arran throws at him. Taco sending his units up to help with Arran, but leaving himself very exposed. However, Mirddes not pushing, coming around in behind Arran. It's a reasonable choice. That'll help Nobby out, because Nobby's in a bit of trouble with the T1 around him, although he should be fine. Mirddes' army now coming and pushing Arran's comm, so not allowing Arran to get up into the fight with his commander. Got range gun there. So that would have been fairly handy against Nobby's comm. Nobby's comm surrounded, but still dishing out the hurt with that nano. 56 regen a second, so a very tough comm to beat right now. And he's dodging a lot of that fire, doing very well. Fighting his comm alone. He has overcharge, but it doesn't look like he's using his overcharge. Auto overcharge here would be a bad idea. There we go, he overcharged that one. Auto overcharge would have been alright. There's a fair few clumps of units. Maybe he could have microed the overcharges into a few of the larger clumps. Done some more damage, but he's got out of there anyway. I don't think he's come within any great deal of danger. Going for gun, there we go. Nice choice. We draw off the front, get gun and push back in. Now we've got Taco and Arran defending against Mirddes' T1 push. Got T2 land out for Taco. Getting pillars out into the mix, gonna be good. Here we go. And Arran now has taken the left island, which will alleviate some of the pressure from the rear. They still have done nothing about this army. I don't think they even kind of realise. I think they might have forgotten about it. They might have slipped their minds to check there. I think their focus is fixed fairly on the front. Unfortunately, needs to zoom out every now and then. Every pause in the gameplay, a couple of seconds is all you need to zoom out, check your expansions, check what's going on, remind yourself what you need to do. And here we go, the bomber though coming in. So I assume that bomber's coming out of this factory on an attack move, seen these guys and has gone after them. I don't know whether that was planned or not, but still that bomber will be able to deal with these guys now. Yep, there we go. The bomber choosing not to attack. Gets that bomb away, stalls them, does some damage to both. And takes one out. However, these tanks are now going to get into the back of Taco's base. So we'll see what they end up doing. Taco now with a mongoose on the front. Epic against the T1 spam. And going for gun. Nobby, having finished his upgrade, is now pushing in a 2-vet nano gun comm against T1 and a little bit of T2. Should fare fairly well. Anti-air set up there. This engineer still sitting idle, unfortunately. A single transport would solve that issue. Here we go. Bomber's taking care of that T1 raid. Finally, it is over. Unable to take down any of these mexes for Taco, but did a ton of damage in the back. So a very worthwhile raid from Nobby. Right. So getting some of the reclaim up front. There's plenty of reclaim here now that can be taken. Still this reclaim here and here that hasn't been touched. Well, here it was touched in the early minutes of the game by Arran. Taco though not pushing up to take this reclaim, or Mirddes for that matter. Let's have a check at the bases. Mirddes T2 land pushing out. They could, what are they? Amphibious? No, anti-air. There we go. And another one. I fear Mirddes may be about to build too many T2 mobile flak. Yep. So he's building 3 hover tanks for 2 flak. Doesn't need the hover tanks here at the moment. The Ilshava, the T2 bots for Seraphim would be much better right now. definitely does not need that much flak just yet. Plenty of T1 anti-air in the mix and only T1 air against them. Now the Mongoose pushing into the T1 army. He needs to get them back, micro them away, get a radar up so he can use the range. You can see the Mongoose unable to fire at their full range without that intel. Needs to get them back, needs the radar up. No T2 on the comm. If he had T2 on the comm, he could put a radar down right here and that would solve that problem for the time being. Nobby now putting down some PD. Some walls on those would be better than just building more PD. The wall's able to protect against direct fire units, especially T1 and to an extent T2. Now though, the T1 land army from Arran starting its push. Nobby's got to stop these builds. He has seen that nice and early and getting, he said it before, 2 vet, gun, nano comm into the fight, leaving his unit back, whether that's due to the lack of APM or if he just doesn't want to get him in the fight, but that's good. Let the comm get another vet, let him deal with the army, and he saves his own army in the process. Mirddes with a sizable, very sizable T1 army on the right, but sitting idle, could be pushing at the same time as Nobby is pushing right now. Bombers coming out for Arran to search for things that aren't there. We need some T1 air scouts out to start seeing what's going on. I don't think either team has air scouted at all during this game. So the air scouts would be very handy, and you can see here the amount of anti-air that Mirddes is pushing out. That's a lot of anti-air. When there's only a couple of T1 bombers, the inties would deal with them very easily. And although he's built all that anti-air, it is in the wrong spot. Now about to be raided. What's he going for? Scouting with the bomber. So hence how important air scouting is when you are trying to use air, or when you're trying to see what the other team's up to. What's he bombing? Oh, he bombed whatever that was, Pigeon or something, I guess. Oh no, it might have been the an E storage. I'm not sure. I didn't see it before it blew up. Now Nobby going back to build more T1 PD. Needs to push with that strong commander right now. Got shield on Arran's con, as well as his range gun. Taco paused on an upgrade, probably T2 I guess. Not enough T2 land coming out from Arran though. Now Mirddes pushing with his own T2, although Mirddes didn't only build the hover tanks and flak. Still looks like he's proceeding with the same build. He needs to turn that into Ilshava only spam. The base on the left remaining unrated. Nobby and Mirddes conceding the left flank, not yet the right flank, because no one has taken it. Again, just a single transport, drop a couple of NGs, build a factory, queue up the mexes and leave it. Maybe get the factory to build some more NGs to reclaim what's in here would be a very good idea too. And getting down a few anti-air and some PD. It takes a few seconds to get all that done. And if he had done it ages ago, he would have had all that extra mass to play with. Bit of a bomber raid now coming around. Looks like it might be going for the base. Nobby's got some T2 flak there. Again, too much. Maybe a single T2 flak would be fantastic. Building a line of T1 anti-air. If he wanted to, send a flak up to here, just defend against any raids coming in. 1 or 2 flaks spaced out a bit. Maybe leave 1 or 2 around the base. But the flak is in the wrong spot to be defending against this raid. Except, I didn't even see it! How blind am I? Nobby has done exactly what I said he should be doing. Well played, Nobby. You asshole. So, Nobby with some flak up the top. Could do with another one ahead to stop the bombers getting into range to drop their bomb, but probably doesn't need to build any more just yet. Taco finishing T2 on the comp. Nobby pushing with the T1 and a little bit of T2. Pillars in the mix. Nobby, yeah, very, very strong comp. There's not a lot to defend against the position. Needs to get under that radar with under the shield with his units. Take down the shield instead anyway. Get rid of that PD and then roll over this army. Needs to focus that PD. And it's getting hit by the Zuid anyway. No, the Lobos anyway. And Zuid for Mirddes. So here we go. Battle is on for this army for Arran's base. Nobby still microing little bits and pieces, splitting his attention between whatever else he's splitting it between. Maybe his army. Really well to continue to micro in this fight. Now we can see that all this anti-air will now die to this raid. Well, this army that's pushed around behind. Nobby now 5 vet. He's on 80 hit point regen. All he needs to do is push. Get these units back. Let the comp deal with this army. And Arran will stand alone. Doing alright, staying out of the range and getting surrounded from Arran's army though. Saving as much hit points as he can. Looks like all the focus is in this area. Mirddes sending all his land around. There's nothing going on in the middle here. Good chance for raiding down the side for some fast T2. Some mongoose down around here to take those out to knock out this P-Gen. Andy's in the T2 air. But everything is committed in the middle. Nobby now taking a lot of damage. Standing still a bit too long. Needs to keep moving out of there. Needs to keep falling back. He's lost most of the land that was supporting him, so he's in a bad spot now. Needed to keep that land alive while Tom dealt with Arran and Taco's land for as long as he could. But now he needs to be in full retreat, maybe get in and make use of what the PD has got back here against the T2. Staying out of range of a lot of it. And Nobby has control K. I don't think he needed to do that. He definitely did not need to do that. I'm pretty sure that was a control K, and oh no, it could have been Mercy's. So Nobby, yes, I would have been surprised if that was a control K, but I think that's just the Yui lying to me. Just like when it lied to me, it didn't point out the anti-air up there. So I think Nobby went down to Mercy's, unfortunately. Lack of antis from either player really handing air control or handing the ability to use air to ground to the bottom team, to them. And Arran coming away lucky. Nobby had that very, very strong comp. Now the land battle in the front between Mirddes and Taco is static. It's happening, but it is static. No microing from either player. Whoever microed this battle would come out far ahead. I mean, Taco's going to come out pretty far ahead anyway, but Mirddes could have done a lot more damage if he was manoeuvring his units around and avoiding a lot of that slow fire. Now falling back to try to defend against Arran's push. Arran still with the top left, no one in the bottom right. Mirddes though with a fair bit of mass coming in. Needs to get more T2 land and needs to get Ilshiva out right now. And he's getting some Nothers. Not a lot of air to air from the bottom team. Some gunships would do very well against them. Some good raids around the back. Good raiding up here to knock out some of the spread out anti-air. That's alright. Trying to use the Nothers to defend. Problem is though, it takes a long time for their bombs to land. In which time, he got those two, but that bomb he dropped before missed everything because Arran had microed back. Whether accidental or on purpose, he still managed to dodge another Aurora going down to the Nother. Plenty of T2 now sitting up for Taco in front of Mirddes. Mirddes with far more land to speak of than his previous games, doing better. It is good to see. However, still needs that the air to protect against the other air, and even to use it against the other team. He's got the air factories, but the bombers. Oh no, Nothers reacting to take down the bombers. The benefit there being displayed of the Nothers for both air to air and air to ground. Mirddes trying to get gun online. He had the second gun. He did. He had the amplifier. Really expensive in eco and time to have early on. The first gun would have been a better upgrade, and then to have used his commander once he had that gun upgrade. And nano repair, Mirddes can get this out. His con will be able to survive a fairly decent battle, especially if he's got some land to support on his own. It may be a different story, but if he's got land to support him, the double gun nano Seracom. Is he going to go double nano? Maybe. We'll find out in a few seconds. Well, yeah, in a minute. And the raid coming around to the right now, targeting the PGen. He's already stalling for mass. Far out. He's already stalling for energy, as we just saw before. He really cannot afford to lose that PGen. Needs to be focused for Taco. Not focusing it though. Hitting the mexes, which aren't the biggest issue at the moment. Needs that power to get the nano going. The PGen survives. The mex is going to survive. And nothing being taken down by that raid. Upgrades to the mexes going on in the back for Arran, getting far ahead, and Taco getting far ahead in eco. He's got T3 mexes. That's how he is able to stay up with Arran's mass. Not sure what's going on here. Are they trying to raid what may or may not be an expansion? No, they were just pulling back a little bit. Still no air scouting from the bottom team. Only those bombers that flew over to give them that little bit of intel. They could really do with some scouts to fly over to show them what there is, or where they need to hit at this point. Mirddes going for the second nano, and that's going to take a long time on minus 4,000 energy. Possibly needs to just forget about that and go for broke, but I don't think he's going to get that done. This army pushing now, he doesn't have the E to be building many units. See, those tanks aren't coming along very quickly. Still got mass to use, but slowly. However, this push now, these Nothers can't do enough in time, is going to, and they're stepping in range of the gun comp. So this land raid's going to take down a lot of his mass. Focuses, there we go. Another T2 max there. Mirddes needs to cancel the nano, it's not going to get done, and needs to fight these guys. And the radar as well, not doing anything to help him due to the e-stall.
Commander under attack.
And the final land push. And could hit all the PGens around. Yeah, he's cancelled it on the move. Needed to do that earlier, getting stuck in the PGen. He's got the E now to see where these armies are, so he can use that range from the comp. He needs to get it moving though. Okay, move, take out these T2 units that are destroying everything from range. The T1 are going to come in anyway, so a bit too late to be cancelling the build there, allowing Arran's units and Tarkos to get in and start tearing the base apart. So Mirddes' eco now down to 50 mass and 1.3k power, not stalling for any of it, but not really using any of it. Two very juicy targets, well, three very juicy targets right there, followed by that. the MML could be targeted a little bit better. Alright, Mirddes now quickly stepping up to 3 vets on his comm. Now a very strong commander. However, perhaps a bit late. Still plenty of T1 land coming out from these guys, and T3 land. Moving straight to T3 land for Arran. I assume he had plenty of eco to do that. So why not skip T2 and just go straight for T3, especially with this comm on the field. Gonna need the harbs for the shield and the range and the micro to take that comm down. Taco still pushing out plenty of T1 land and plenty of anti-air and MML. Again, at this point, definitely to take this comm down, tanks all the way. Standing his army, still letting it get in range of Mirddes' comm up to his 4th event on 94 regen. And here comes the first harb in for Arran now. Let's see the range. Mirddes can hit the harb very easily, so yep, Mirddes' comm now with more range than the harb. So the shield and micro is very helpful for them if it comes down to it, but Mirddes' comm getting caught in between everything. These units moving away. Attack missile on the comm. Would have been better off, I would say, putting that eco into T3 land or more T2 tanks, but Mirddes is going to die anyway. T3 air coming over the top as well. So GG, that goes 1-0 to Arran Taco, and we will go and have a look at the next game.